Hello and welcome to ET Garage. Today is going to be my final recommendation on this Chinese intake manifold and why you shouldn't buy it. Alright, like I was saying, this is my final recommendation on this Chinese copy of a Edelbrock ProFlow. If you're going to buy one of these intakes, I highly recommend you get the real deal, get the Edelbrock one. Even though I have no experience with it, I can't say how much better it is than that, but I almost guarantee it's machine better. I'll go over another problem I found on this manifold, and the one reason why you might want to buy it, and that would be if you're like me and you know you're going to be cutting it up and butchering it and making changes to it. So that's the only reason to buy one of these Chinese intake manifolds, because then if you do end up destroying it, at least it's half the cost of what the real one is. I'm going to turn this around and show you a problem I found. And this is another problem. I test fitted it on a motor out in the garage, and I noticed that the China wall doesn't line up too well in the back, and it has like a curve to it. Everything else lined up good. The surfaces for the gasket, the holes all lined up good. I did have to modify the center holes, but that's not because of the manifold. That was because of the type of heads I'm using. They have the different bolt angle, which is no big deal. I did check the distributor fit as far as the height. Where it clamps down, it has to be in their correct height, so it grabs the oil pump on a small block Chevy. The bottom of the distributor hooks into the oil pump, and that's basically what drives it. The camshaft spins the distributor, and that spins the oil pump. So those all have to mesh up good. So that worked out well. I'm going to show you the problem with the China wall, and I'll do that. I'll show some pictures up here. And if you look, you can see it does cover enough of the China wall as far as the distance outwards towards the rear of the block, but barely. And then if you look, there's that big gap. It's like a bow in it on the back here. There's a couple of ways I could have went about that. I could have took a chance and had it welded and hope I didn't warp anything when I did that if I had it welded and then machine it. I decided to make a spacer, which is out on the block right now, setting up. And then when I get around to putting this on, that'll be fine. That's something that I can remove in the future if I have to. It's not something permanent. It's just siliconed on there. And that took me a while to get that right, to get the right angle. So something else you got to check when you buy a manifold. And it really doesn't matter if it's made in China or here in the U.S. You should check all those things anyway, especially your distributor height. That's why they make distributors with an adjustable collar on them, so you can adjust your gear and pick up for the oil pump correctly. There's other ways to do that. If it goes down too far, that's an easy fix. You can just, I believe they might even sell spacers, but you can just stack the gaskets, the round gaskets that go here. But my final recommendation, like I said, if you're not into modifying and fabricating, don't get this manifold. Get the real deal. Get the Edelbrock one. That'll make your life a lot easier. Like I modified the opening here. That's because I am going to be putting a dual throttle body adapter. I've still got a little machining I don't really need to do. I might go ahead and blend that in better. The side that faces, that's going to go here. The throttle body is going to go here, bolted to this adapter. And let's see, I made this fitting here. This I machined on a lathe. This is going to be for the PVC system. This is an interference fit with self-locking thread sealer. It's seal lock, they call it. It's basically like thread sealer with Loctite kind of in it. So that sucker ain't going nowhere, and there shouldn't be any type of a vacuum leak. I ain't worried about that. The other side, this fitting I got from Summit. And that's going to be for the map sensor. I could just get the map sensor that's designed to go on there and then get a harness adapter. I decided I'm just going to stick with the factory map sensor. I'll probably bolt that here, and then I'll have to run a vacuum line around to this. I don't care for this fitting here. These I got off of eBay. I think they came from China or something. But I think I'm going to remove that, and I might just go machine my own adapter that just looks nicer. And do that, because I just don't like the having to run a hose around like that. I just think it looks odd. That's the only reason to do it. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with it. This top part here, I'm gonna probably machine off. I got these two 90-degree fittings like this here and here. One will run a hose to the fuel pressure regulator, and the other one goes to the vacuum line. That will be the vacuum line that runs inside the interior to operate the climate control, and also it goes to the cruise control to operate that. I fabbed up these brackets to hold the fuel rail. I'm going to paint all those parts up. I also need to run down to the hardware store and get different bolts, because I'm short bolts for holding these brackets on, and these, I just don't like the way these look, so I'm going to get some Allen head ones, stainless steel Allen head ones. I haven't decided if I'm going to paint this black or silver. I might paint it silver. I don't know. I think it would look too dark if I just go black valve covers and this black. I don't know. The throttle body adapter I'll probably paint black, though. That's minor silly stuff. Everything else, like on the back here, there's already a port for the vacuum that goes to the brake booster. The reason I'm using this throttle body is everything will just hook right up to it. There's a couple of vacuum lines that have to do with the evap system, the gas fumes from the gas tank and all that stuff. And of course the PVC hose hooks right here too to the throttle body. There's no bung on here for the temperature sensor like in the factory TP tune port. It screws right into the bottom of the plenum, the upper plenum. I could add some type of bung under here and screw it in just like that. Instead, I'm going to relocate it to just in front of the throttle body. That's where I'll be reading the actual outside air being drawn in through the intake. Where in there it tends to get heat soaked. So that'll affect the tune, but that doesn't bother me because I'm going to be doing a custom tune anyway. The fuel pressure regulator, I might mount right here. I gotta wait till I get it on the car and see how it clears the valve covers and all that stuff. Now that's the way that's looking right there, and how I route the lines and so forth. I can actually drill and tap into this just like there's holes going through for these bolts. This lower part of the fuel reel, the fuel runs through the top part. The bottom part is just solid aluminum. I could drill and tap that and mount that like so. And then I'll have a line coming around and so forth. I'll fab those up, the AN fittings. I was going to go with the original ProFlow style one that just hooks right to the front here. It's a non-return style. It would make it super simple for hooking everything up. It just bolts here and then one line. My fuel system on my 90 Corvettes already has a return system, and I like the return system better. So I'm going with a return style adjustable fuel regulator. This also has a gauge I can screw on the front if I want. I also have to mount, because I have to go from a large cap HEI distributor that has the coil built in. I have to go to the small cap with the external coil. So that I have to make a mount for. If you look on like a Camaro from the same year that has this, that came from the factory, the small cap distributor, they mount, it actually mounts somewhere around here, I believe. I might be wrong. Someone correct me if you know, but I don't know if I'm going to bolt it right to the manifold somehow, or maybe over on this side. I don't know. I'll figure it out, or to the firewall, or I could even maybe, I could go down there somewhere and then run the wire up. I don't know if I like that. I'll figure it out. eventually once it's in the car. But the parts, I'm waiting on to put the motor, to finish the motor up, or the push rods. And yeah, I think just the push rods. I have a couple other things coming. Oh, an adapter on the cylinder heads. My temperature sending unit is actually a smaller size than the hole that they have in their heads. So I had to get a reducer. So that's coming. The push rods are coming. There's something else I ordered. I can't even remember what it was. But if I didn't need it, I probably wouldn't have ordered it. So I guess I'm going to end the video here. And hope that was informative and helpful if you're thinking about buying one of these Chinese ProFlows. If you look on some of the reviews, there were people had other problems where the like machining for the fuel injectors. And some other machining errors and problems. So something to consider. They have the quality control issue when it comes to the machining. The casting isn't bad. It's actually pretty good. It's just, in my opinion, it's pretty good. It's just the machining is bad. Another thing I don't know about is what kind of aluminum this is. Like Edelbrock, when they cast their aluminum, their manifolds, I think they also do some treatment processes to them, and it's probably a better quality aluminum than what this is. So that's another thing to consider. I mean, as long as it seals and doesn't warp or anything once it gets hot, hopefully, it should be fine. But anyway, just check back on the channel, subscribe, or whatever you want to do, and in the future you'll find out how it goes. Everybody have a great day, and God bless.